Today's topic is anther and microsporangium. As you know very well that anther is male reproductive part of flower. This is the component of actually stamen, the male flower, and that stamen, it is composed of anther and filament. There is no specific role of filament, it only holds the anther. This is the stamen. It consists of filament and anther. The role of filament is only to hold this anther, and that anther may be monothecous or dithecous. Monothecous means there is a single lobe, one lobe, and dithecous means, as the term dis here, means two lobe or bilobed. And each lobe, if there is one lobe, means each lobe, it consists of two pollen sac. And if there is bilobed dithecous, so there is 2 into 2 is equal to 4 pollen sac. This is the property of anther. Most of the anthers are dithecous. The monothecous anther have the 2 pollen sac, and dithecous anther have 4 pollen sacs. And these pollen sacs are also termed as microsporangium. Microsporangium. Microsporangium means the smaller sporangium. There are two types of sporangium, microsporangium and megasporangium. Microsporangium means smaller, megasporangium means somewhat larger. These microsporangium produces microspore. So what is the site of microspore production? That is the microsporangium, or also known as pollen sac. And these pollen microspores are finally develops into pollen grain. Now look at the structure of the microsporangium, monothecous and dithecous. Monothecous structure is like that. There is a single lobe and a filament. When transverse section of these single lobed microsporangium is observed, we can easily observe two sac. These are the pollen sac, and this is the connective tissue. There is a pollen sac, one pollen sac and second pollen sac. And in the dithecous anther, the anther is bilobed. Bilobed anther, there are two lobes, and each lobe consists of two pollen sac. So there are total of 4 pollen sac. This is the property of dithecous anther. 1, 2, 3 and 4. These pollen sac, inside these there are some sporogenous tissues are present. Sporogenous tissues are present. Likewise, in this there are sporogenous tissues are present. These sporogenous tissues on further development produces microspore. These sporogenous tissues produces microspore, and these microspores are developed into pollen grain. One more thing, What is the nature of sporogenous tissues? Sporogenous tissues are those tissues which produces pollen or microspore. The ploidy of sporogenous tissues are always 2n, means they are diploid. They have the same amount of chromosome number as their investigative cell. What will be the diploidy of the microspore is always n, that is haploid, and a specific division takes place in the formation of these haploid spores is meiosis division. So the production of microspore is due to meiosis division in these sporogenous tissues. We further later on describe that how the microspore formation takes place, but now we recapitulate that the anther is the male reproductive part. It is the part of stamen, and stamen is composed of anther and filament. Filament is the only part that bear the anther, and anther may be monothecous, have the single lobe, or the dithecous, have the two lobe. Monothecous anther has two lobes, means two pollen sac, and the dithecous anther have the four lobes, means four pollen sac. Each of these pollen sacs has the sporogenous tissues. These sporogenous tissues produces microspore that further develop into the pollen grain, and the division that takes place in the formation of pollen grain is the reductional divisions, means meiosis, where diploid condition is converted into haploid condition.